Hello everyone. I hope that everyone is fine. Today it is Saturday and we are going to talk about how is coronavirus outbreak affecting our digital marketing strategy, especially for the hospitality industry. So we are having with us Kyros Asfής. Hello Kyros, how are you?
Hi Vivian, how are you doing?
I'm good. So thank you for being with us today. Kyros is the owner and the chief digital marketing strategist and άμεσο hotel and tourism digital marketing agency. He has a great experience regarding marketing in general and especially for digital marketing strategy. So Kyros, do you want to share with us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for inviting me in your Instagram channel. First of all, I would like to say that's a very great initiative during the time that everybody is we are living and we go through. A little background about me. I'm on the digital online business for 20 plus years. I've been through various positions from sales positions back to 1996, where we're selling a one-page HTML page to companies, and afterwards I had a career through various companies. I've been for 9 years collaborating with Antenna group of companies, and one of the initiators of the Antenna Internet company. And afterwards, I had my first unsuccessful try to be an entrepreneur back to 2000.
With a great success.
But no, that was the first attempt. That was, if you don't fail, you don't succeed, they say. That was back to 2009, and then I was back to Hellas Online, which now is acquired by Vodafone Group. I stayed for 3 years there, and afterwards I decided again with my ex-partner to start the άμεσο, which is a quite funny story because it was a digital agency taking clients from everywhere, but our first client dropped us, and the second client was a hotel. That was the turning point in my career. That was back to 2014 or 15. So it's about 5 years that we are on the hospitality business. And I found that the hospitality product is so amazing and mind-blowing. So we decided to have just this orientation and just to undertake hospitality businesses. Since then, in these 5 years, I would say we are a boutique digital marketing agency. We don't attract crowds. We try to be more specific, and we are very result-driven. And that's why for 2 years we received a silver and a bronze award on the Tourism Awards for the acquisition and because it was about the customer acquisition strategies, where it was an increase of the direct sales of the hotels.
Great. So what is digital marketing for you? How we are talking about digital marketing?
That's something that I like to discuss a lot about, because I think there's a big misunderstanding about this market. First of all, I would like to make clear that the king, as you can see also on my slide, it is the marketing itself. Marketing is a group of things that everything collaborates in order to create a customer, to acquire a customer, to make him happy, and of course to create and drive sales. Digital marketing, it's a subtotal of the total marketing strategy, and it has to be fully aligned with the marketing strategy of the company. So I want to make it really clear that digital marketing cannot stand alone. We need to have a total and holistic marketing strategy in order to succeed our goals.
Okay.
So
when we are talking about, I want to say also that we have created in detail a presentation in order to follow up our today's topic, and I'm going to share with you the slides of the presentation. So, Kyros, how is coronavirus outbreak affecting bookings? What we are seeing here?
I don't feel that the message is really optimistic right now. Mm-hmm. First, on the slide that sorry, but I cannot make it more bigger. Here is some trends that are used in order to get some information, and it's a tool that it's available for everybody. This is Google Trends, which is appears and shows what was the searches for coronavirus in Greece. Through Google Trends, you can ask questions to Google and immediately have a result of the trends. What was the trend for this specific result? As you can see here, mm-hmm. And maybe I can explain it a little bit for you. This is for the period of 25th of January until today.
Yes.
You can see that during the February period, we have an increase of the coronavirus status searches, in Greece, meaning that there was people that were willing to come to Greece, or they have already booked something in Greece, and they were interested in order to know what was the reaction and what's the present status in Greece. Unfortunately, you can see that this trend is going down, meaning mm-hmm. that people are not interested even for what's the coronavirus status in Greece, meaning that it goes away what is going on in Greece and if they want to come.
Yes. So Google Trends, it's something that everyone can use.
Of course.
All the hoteliers in every business aspect we can check out, and these metrics are online. So apart from this, we are talking about seasonality in Greece, right?
Yeah.
And about, we have here a chart where we see, as I remember, the destination requests.
Exactly. That's a chart that came out from the Web Hotelier API, which actually this particular thing shows it comes from the period of the 1st of January in 2020. Happy New Year, and hope we have a nice year. Unfortunately, it doesn't look so. And you can see how it drops the request for the Athenian hotels. Okay. And I want now to separate a little bit of things, because the Athenian hotels are something different, and of course the chart itself, it is for a very particular reason dropping so much. Of course we have a drop, we don't have any, we have slightly very few new reservations, and this also shows that people were not interested in order to come to Athens, which is also a new city break destination.
Okay, so what we see is that
sorry, Vivian, just to add on this about the seasonality, we see cancellations through all the resorts, all the hotels everywhere. The only, I would say, optimistic message that we have here, that there remain some reservations for July and August, but as you understand, that's something really flexible depending on the coronavirus crisis on the country that these visitors want to come to Greece.
We assume that the countries that will have zero coronavirus cases on May will be the first to attract I think, clients and guests during the summer. So about the coronavirus outbreak, how does affect our communication? We have this Maslow pyramid of needs.
Yeah. Actually, it was really nice that what happens is that we go back to the basics and back to the marketing lessons back in the university, and we're just talking about marketing 101. First of all, we are in the hospitality business, so
Yes.
everything is around our customer.
Mm-hmm.
So all our strategy, first of all, and during this outbreak, it has to be around the human personality. As you can see, and as for, who remembers, we have the hierarchy of needs by Abraham Maslow, where people right now, I feel they're on the bottom level and they try to cover the two first levels, the psychological needs, with the physiological needs, which is the food, water, and the shelter, and the second one, which is the safety needs, which is security and safety.
Okay.
No, you went a little bit, you ran a little bit with the slides.
Yes.
Yeah. Right now, we as hoteliers or digital marketeers for the hotels, we need to cover the third level of the needs, which is the belongingness and the love need, and to intimate relationship with our customers. Mm-hmm. So our strategy and our message is around the human person itself. It doesn't have to make profits. It has to take care of our clients, of our, let's say, existing clients, and the ones that are willing to come.
So
yeah.
It's about emotional branding, right?
Yeah, and I think now it brings us to the next slide, mm-hmm. which it's under one word, which is solidarity. Solidarity in every direction. We need solidarity. We have to support each other in this case, because if we are not united, we're not coming out of this crisis without any problems.
Solidarity, as we have it here, it has economical, as you have written, and psychological aspects.
Yeah. Sorry, because I ran a different slide. Yeah. First, we have to give to give the security feeling to our clients. In terms of economical, we know that this crisis is not only a health crisis, it's also an economical crisis. We know what happens here in Greece. Okay. Companies stopped working. Employees will get 800 euros in order to have 45 days to go through. So things are getting difficult. People, seasonal employees that were working on the hotels will not work also. Mm-hmm. And that creates also a problem. Imagine now being in Italy right now. People are dying around you, maybe relatives, people you know, friends, whoever, and you request for a refund, and the hotelier will say, no, sorry, I will not give you your money back. Mm-hmm. I feel that the frustration and the anger that you're gonna experience, that you're gonna feel, is going to hurt your business in the long term, because that's a bad reputation, a bad karma, I would say also. So yes. What you can do in order to a little bit, of course, because we are businesses at the end of the day, mm-hmm. we can offer flexible price policy, meaning that our refunds can be in a closed period before the arrival, so our customer, our guest, to be flexible on his plans and on how he's going to schedule his trip. And also, what's the status of the coronavirus crisis in his country? Mm-hmm. On the other hand, we have a psychological approach, which, as I said, it has to be a more humanitarian approach and support the user. What do I mean by that? The message and the campaign itself, it has to be on a different basis. We don't try to sell, and we don't over try in order to create the dream. We just have to lay back, relax, take a deep breath, and just say that, you know, we are still here. Get out of this nightmare, and when you wake up and you open your eyes, our beautiful beaches, our beautiful sun, our beautiful forest, whatever the destination has to offer, it's here and waiting for you. So support them. I will give you an example. I was discussing the other day before, and it was really funny because I was on this. I had this position, and I was instructing and advising our collaborators, not customers, collaborators, because we have few and very strong bonds, that they don't have to talk all the time about what they are offering and the C, because you know what happened? When I was talking, somebody has done it, not one of our collaborators. You know what was the response? It was really bad, because they said, okay, look, we are in a very difficult situation, and you just keep posting us about things that we cannot do. So it's a very tight red line in order to go to not overpass and overdo it with the message that we want to bring.
Can we see some bad and good cases?
Yeah.
So here.
Allow me, I will not go through company, and I will not present hotel cases, although I have many of them, because I respect my colleague work, and because I'm also can be criticized about my job. I don't like to be criticized, so I don't criticize, so I put it on another level.
Okay.
Here we have a really bad example, which was hovering around the social media. I don't know if it's very clear. I will read it for you. It was a message: don't cancel your trip, change the dates, and let's save tourists today, together. Hashtag, don't cancel, modified. Hashtag, save tourism. That's a really awful message. That's something that we don't want to. Who cares? I want to cancel my trip because I don't have to eat, because I'm afraid that I will get the corona and I will pass it to my 75 years old father. So it gives you a message that, hey, I will keep your money, and when it's time, come and have fun with me. Okay. I don't know if you agree.
So some people maybe some hoteliers will think, no, but why? I say modify the dates. This is not the reason. Here Kyrgios is trying to say to us that we have to think with humanity at first level. So the next case study, I think that this is the point that every company, especially hospitality, should promote. Here we have a great case study.
Yeah, I'm really honored because the photographer is a very, very old friend of mine. Back to Katerina created this. I know her since 1990. Sorry, it goes back 90 something.
Okay.
That's a spirit. When I saw that, I said, I felt, first of all, I felt that I'm swimming. I dive into the sea. And the message was clear, very clear to me. Till then, stay safe. It's here, it's gonna stay, and it's waiting for you. From the one hand, it gave me this optimistic and the nice sensation, the feeling of the action. Yes. And the other one, it says, okay, don't worry, we are here. Take your time, get out of your problem, and we will wait for you.
It's an amazing campaign, and I have seen many of us, many businesses and brands that are operating in the hospitality industry to use it, and hopefully we're going to be out of this soon. So, Kyros, what are the consequences of this situation that we are all living now?
Because you said, hopefully we're going to get out.
Yes.
We are in a really flexible, there is nobody that knows what is going to happen, because everything is flexible right now. All the parameters are variables. These are variables, the parameters are variables, so we don't know how it's going to react. Even if we freeze cleanse from the corona thing, do we want to bring the coronavirus from Spain, for example? So there are many questions into this equation. It's a really difficult equation, which I cannot answer to you, to be honest. But on the other hand, we can count and we can rely and have some metrics. Regarding some immediate, my hypothetical now is, first of all, we're going to have a change of the traveling audience. I feel that it's not going to traveling within the immediate, after the coronavirus outbreak, and we don't know if it's going to be a second wave. I feel the first ones, it's not going to be the regular travelers as we know it. People will try to avoid mass concentration, meaning that destination with very, very close, let's say, bringing one close to each other will be avoided. And of course, maybe also hotels that are hosting too many guests will be avoided. I feel that more remote places will become more popular. And this comes to the change of the location. And maybe also the income, higher incomers will come for vacation. On the other hand, well, traditional tour operators like TUI, for example, it will take time, again, the mechanism, because right now the mechanism is suspended. Mm-hmm. It will take some time in order to restart the whole mechanism, meaning the planes, the organizations, people to go and book vacation, and all the things in order to get started.
Okay, I can see here a comment where we see that we will see a rise in villas as a consequence.
Yeah, that's true. I totally align with this thing. That's why I say that higher incomers will come, people with higher income. If I will try to make a guess, because what we do here in digital marketing, we are creating digital personas where we are targeting in order to get a customer. We don't just throw money on advertising. That's another process. We can say when things are a little bit more relaxed. But yes, in this case, the digital personas and the target audience will change, as also the destination. The villas, because it has this remoteness, you are remote, you don't come into contact with other people, I think they will be more preferred.
Okay, so assuming that I am a hotelier, what shall I do with my hotel digital marketing strategy?
Yeah,
we need your help here, your advice.
Yeah, I think we have two things now to consider. Some generic rules and some specific rules. The generic rules apply to everybody. Mm-hmm. Don't freeze your social media channels.
Of course.
The first reaction that I had was stop. I said, look, if you stop, they will assume that everybody's dead. you have to be there, and that comes about how often shall I broadcast. I will even say not even once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, for 2 reasons. First, you are not gaining, you don't create buzz on the audience, and on the other hand, the algorithm of the social media platforms, they will not assume that you are dead. They will keep you and will have something is going on. So don't freeze the social media presence, and don't follow your regular posting sequence, because it's what I said to you before. That will have a counter effect and maybe a bad effect.
Okay.
Let's go now to the specific ones. Yeah. The biggest, we have metrics. We have things that we can see and understand what is going on. So first of all, the magic of the digital marketing, in contrast with the traditional marketing, that everything is, you can count and you see what are the results in most of the situations of the actions. So here we have Google Trends, where we can see what is a trend for our destination. We have our own analytics. We can see if the visitors are increasing, so we know that the market is waking up. And also, we have the ability, through Google Trends, because I didn't mention it before, we can see the search term for each specific country, meaning the coronavirus, which was the search term that I presented to you, it was a worldwide statistic. We have the ability to break down and see what was this thing for United States, for Australia, for Austria, for Azerbaijan. Yeah. No, Santorini is the destination. I was meaning the search terms by country.
Okay, but we can, doesn't the client search regarding the destination? No.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
I'm wondering if the guest, for example, a Sweden guy, if he's going to search coronavirus in Santorini because he wants to travel to Santorini.
Yes, that's the thing. A big creative on the search terms is the same to be creative as when you are setting up a campaign. It's not only one the alternative, you have many alternatives, and you have to cover in order to have a complete view of what is going on. What I will go to the other two the other 2 points. Check the crisis status per country and use geo-targeting and adapt the message. I will try to give it an example to you what I mean by that.
Yes.
We have a corona crisis in every country, okay? We know that is week 1 or week 4, week 8, week 12, and goes on. We have some parameters, which is how effectively it was, let's say, what was the measures by the government in order to limit the outbreak. But again, we have a very specific pattern of how it goes, this outbreak. So you can create a digital marketing strategy on stages where in each stage you have more or less the same message, and you adapt it according with the crisis status of the country. For example, if you are right now like in Spain or in Italy, you don't need to even talk about holidays to these people. But for example, or in Switzerland, where again the situation is really bad. But in other countries, things are more loose, so you can broadcast a different message. Broadcast a message or a different message. So what I suggest on this case is always to have a very close look. Don't create one campaign for everybody, but adapt the campaign according to the target audience, like having two variables, time and place. Depending where you are on this matrix, create a different campaign.
So we have to create a campaign, as I understand, based on our country and how the coronavirus outbreak is going per week, and targeting its country for how they are going as a plan, a whole plan.
Sorry, I see also the...
So we have comments.
If I said correct, you mean that we should relate? Yes, correct. Actually, yes, we are taking as the basis the target country, and according to which phase they are with the coronavirus outbreak, we create a different message.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, so
microsegmentation, as I say, I try to use more generic terms in order to be more understandable to everybody.
We have also other specific rules, like the special measures and procedures that the hotel are taking, that we
that's more about the message. You know what's the biggest problem that we have faced? And I was discussing from the very beginning, because when it came out and the Greek government said, okay, the hotels have to shut down until the 30th of April. Of course, we know that it's going to be postponed. They said, okay, stop, don't post, don't say anything about. I said, no, what we said before, no, we have to talk about. Now it's a time, the worst thing for somebody is not to keep a secret out of him, to not tell him what we are going to do. That's the moment that we have to open our hearts, not exactly open your hearts, but actually to give information that, you know, during this situation, we will take all the applicable measures and all the measures that are prescribed by the health organization or a special advisor, in order and assure the customers that we will follow the best hygienic practices for them. And you know, digital marketing has the magic that you can broadcast your message through various channels. For this, I highly recommend, and now's the period for writing blog articles. Through blog articles, first of all, with a smart, let's say, copywriting and getting right keywords, you will ride the wave of the COVID, let's say, search, and you will appear in search terms for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Other method and main thing about our strategy is to talk about our USP, unique selling points, and I correlate a little bit with the villas and with the more remote, emphasizing these unique selling points where it's an advantage in contrast with some other mass concentration places.
Okay, we have also another comment, I think, statement that from a good case study, as they say, the engagement rates constantly increase since we have changed our tone of voice. Mm-hmm. And this is what we are talking about. Humanity, yes. So yeah. Do we spend any advertising budget during this coronavirus crisis?
I think right now, and somebody is within our audience, and he will show up. We have an argument, I would say, about that. Yes, we continue advertising, but doesn't mean that we are giving the full throttle and we don't spend the same amount that we were spending before. We are very conservative on what we are spending. I cannot give you an amount because you understand it's a variable depending on where you are and what are also your not what you want to achieve, what are your goals, but it's a variable depending how much is your budget. And of course, the main thing that I believe that you have to continue is not only to continue having a presence, but is, as I say, the advertising platforms, which is the social media and the search engines. They need gasoline in order to keep running. If you are putting an idle and then the first gear is like with a car. If you put the first gear, you're gonna consume more gasoline, having an engine running on the idle mode. You know what I mean? Actually trying to start up the engine every time. That's also the main thing. That's a perfect now timing also to spend much more less, and of course help our organic rankings, since Booking and Expedia right now, they don't spend any money. Yes. And so that's an excellent opportunity in order to have a better position on the ranking when the market will open again. That's my point. Sorry.
Oh, we cannot hear anything, so it's fine. So, Kyros, I
have a thing only to say. That's about one of the effects, because I was running through my notes. Mm-hmm. One again negative, and it's a problem that starts to arising, is appears to have some cash flow problems through the refunds, and appears to have a problem with the OTAs, because they go and they cancel by themselves the reservations. Mm-hmm. And so it's something that we are looking closely as a problem, and of course hoteliers will take action against that.
Okay, thank you very much for this input. I think that we have with us also Professor Dimitrios Buhalis, and as we have mentioned before, it is going to be more interactive, today's live talk. So, Kyros, should we invite Mr. Buhalis with us?
I have to leave, of course. I will watch you as an audience.
Yes.
And in case maybe we can, in case that there are some questions and about something needs something to be clarified, please feel free to take the news, the timeline, to drop your question, and I will come back in order to.
I suggest Kyros to stay with us, and after our talk with Mr. Buhalis, to say goodbye together again.
Okay, all right.
Answer to the question. So I'm removing you.
Yeah.
Okay. And now we are going to have with us Mr. Professor Buhalis, who is a strategic management and marketing expert. He has been working closely with the United Nations World Tourism Organization for more than 25 years. Hello, Mr. Buhalis.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm making a great introduction of your great background, professional background, and I have just mentioned your collaboration with the United Nations World Tourism Organization, and of course that you are the director of the eTourism Lab and deputy director of the International Centre for Tourism and Hospitality Research of the Bournemouth University in England. So thank you very much. It is an honor to have you together with us. And as you were watching the live talk with Kyros, do you have something to add in our today's topic?
I think the best quality today is to be a friend of Kyros, because he kind of invited me as a guest star, guest speaker to his show to continue, and I followed what he said, and I agree with most of it. I have got to be more pessimistic.
Okay.
And I've started looking into that from the beginning of March. So the 3rd of March, I put something on my blog saying, brace, brace, brace. We are going to something really, really bad. On the 26th of March, I put something on my blog saying, look, we're not going to have a season before sometime in July. Then later on, tour operators were coming one after the other, and they were kind of confirming that they are starting quite late. And then on the 1st of April, I wish it was an April's Fool Day joke. I kind of put on my blog that it's very unlikely that we're going to have a normal summer season. It's going to be quite complicated and very, very difficult. So I'm start preparing colleagues and friends who are asking for my advice that we may actually think of summer 2020 as a cancelled year, which is quite dramatic.
Yes, of course.
But actually, I think we should be preparing for that. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope that.
But I know that you're an expert. However,
well,
what can you do?
The thing I'm looking at is a couple of days ago, TUI let 11,000 people in the UK go home.
Okay.
And they put them on what's called furlough here. And yesterday, British Airways sent 36,000 people home. So they dismantle their capacity. And if we don't have airlines, we don't have tourism.
Of course.
So tourism this year will be very, very different than anything in the past. And I think I'm sitting in England right now, and I think that there are two issues here. As far as customers are concerned, they are not thinking about holidays, they are not thinking about Greece, they are not thinking about Spain, they are not thinking about summertime. They are thinking about survival in a very similar way with you. They're thinking on how to go to the supermarket and waiting for a long time to get access to things. They're thinking about cleaning material that they cannot find, and they are thinking about food that they cannot find. I'm sorry, but I'm bringing some really hard news into the conversation. Also, because of the stay-home policy, a lot of people are losing their jobs. And a lot of these people will be our customers that they're coming to Greece and to other places. So we are facing first a health crisis that everybody is looking every day what's happening. From yesterday to today, we've got 700 people who died in the UK. Then we're looking to a humanistic crisis and an economic crisis. Okay. So I've been saying to people, brace, 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 and prepare for the worst.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. However, of course, you're an expert and you have a great experience in tourism. But I believe that if I am a business owner, that we are collaborating with hotel owners. So of course, this affects both of us. If I was a hotel owner, I would ask you, so, okay, it's the hardest time of ever. It's a crisis. This year is cancelled. However, there is a scenario, a conservative one, that maybe we have 1 month to operate. What can we do until then? As Kyros said, we have to stay positive, right? We have to stay focused on how we can do greater our days in our businesses. We are talking about marketing now. So in terms of marketing and the strategy that a hotel company should follow is, what's your opinion? Should we stay?
Okay. I think first of all, we need to do strategy for the time being. Strategy means survival. Survival means looking after our costs to begin with.
Okay.
So from a strategic management point of view, the first thing that any business will need to look at is liquidity. And liquidity means we need to look into our debt, and we need to look into who do we owe money to, and how can we go back to banks and talk to them and say, look, the situation is the situation, and nobody's in a better situation. So can we rearrange loans? Can we rearrange debt? That's the first thing. Second thing is to look after our staff, because our staff are in a really, really difficult situation as well. So we really need to go back to our employees and say, what can we do to make sure that you do not face such a bad year as we face? Yeah. So I work with humanity first. Okay, so the first thing is liquidity. The second thing is staff. The third thing is the customers. There's no point of telling the customers, can you please change your dates, because I really want to take your money right now. No. We should really go back to our customers and say, look, we suffer in all of that together. I really like your hashtag, we are together. And saying, we will be here, you'll come back to us as soon as we can. Now, this is the immediate thing until we start looking into what's happening. I think Kyros was talking about understanding the timetable and what's happening, both in the country. So when is our peak going to happen, which nobody knows, and when is the peak in our source markets are going to happen? So when is the peak in the UK? There are people who are talking about in the UK that the peak will be in June. If the peak is in June, that means in July, we're still going to be locked in. There's still no planes. I look into Germany right now and has got 92,000 cases. Doesn't have as many deaths, but has got huge number of cases. I see all of our markets that they're going through different stages of the virus. I see Sweden taking no measures.
Yes, I understand your point, and I'm wondering, for example, Israel is a country that is the same phase as Greece. It has approximately the same cases as Greece. So in a positive scenario, if Greece is with 0 cases during June, maybe we will be out until the end of July, for example. If it's the same case with Israel, is this a scenario of having guests from countries that maybe are being in a more positive scenario and have 0 cases until the end of July?
I hope so, but I was watching Mr. Tiopas and Mr. Hardalias the other day, and they were talking about specifically for the islands. And the health structures that we've got on the islands. And you've seen what happened in Ikaria, you've seen what happened in different places. This is quite difficult to predict. So I think governments will be quite reluctant to open up very quickly before they can make sure that there are no second wave and third wave and come back to, especially to places, because tourism is normally happening in peripheral areas and regional areas where health structures are not very strong.
Yes.
So imagine in Kos Island or in Corfu, a situation where it's getting out of control. That's why I'm not very optimistic. And I know a lot of people are desperate to hear good news. And I wish I was in a position to actually offer good news. But given what's happening right now, I think from a marketing point of view, from a strategy point of view, we really need to control costs. And we really need to work with our partners and our staff and everybody else. As far as customers are concerned, we really need to go back to the customer and say, look, we are suffering with you, especially colleagues and friends and family in Spain and in Italy. We really we commiserate with them. What has happened, I can see 15,000 people dead in Italy, 12,000 in Spain. That's huge catastrophe. In the UK, we expect, the chief medical officer went to the parliament and said, if we have 20,000 dead, it's quite acceptable. I think we'll expect between 20 and 50,000 dead. So the first thing, it's a humanitarian kind of catastrophe. The second thing is, what do we do? I think we really need to brace, looking to reduce our costs on every single possibility. And the second thing is to communicate we are in all of this together. We'll be waiting here and start preparing for the next day. We really need to create marketing strategies that include distribution, that include targeting, that we are much more professional. I think this crisis will have structural changes. A lot of things will change in the tourism industry worldwide. And I think we need to learn how we need to be much more professional in the future.
We have some questions, some comments. So the first one is, to which extent has European Union actually reacted as a union regarding this challenge? To which extent do you feel there may be some turbulence after, during all this?
I think I'm not an expert on this, but I think politically there's a huge discussion right now on who has helped whom and who has kept their resources to themselves. I think every government is under immense pressure to look after its own people, and I think we have found a lot of behavior that is not operating as a union, but rather, trying to protect your own. It's quite understandable, but I think there's a huge issue on that. And the second thing that comes after that is the economics of that. Who is going to support whom? And I hear a lot of colleagues from tourism talking about financial support from the tourism sector to come forward. I hear a lot of airlines asking for a lot of money to staying flying. But I also hear a lot of the health system trying to kind of get money and resources to be able to save lives. And I know what the governments will do.
Okay, and thank you for answering this. Which is your opinion about next summer tourist season? It will be quite good or not?
I think it's too early to say. I think the people are waiting for a second and a third wave of the virus. Hope it's not going to happen. I hope that the vaccine is going to be here before. The theory that says, look, if we haven't traveled this year, we need to travel more next year, and therefore people will have enough of staying at home and they like to go out. There'll be so many divorces as well, because there are so many people that they'll fight with their partners at home, and there'll be so many people who like to get out. That's one scenario. The second scenario is the financial crisis is going to have serious consequences. So if an electrician hasn't worked for 4 months, if a hairdresser has worked for 4 months, they may not be in a position to go on holiday. So I think it's too early. But I think for the time being, I'm concentrating on the humanitarian and the health crisis. And I think what we need to do as tourism organizations is to look at our humanity and how can we support the health professionals who are on the front line. How can we provide accommodation for them? How we can provide food for them? How can we support and minimize the health catastrophe? And I think we can build economics afterwards. And I think what the industry has learned over the years is to come back, rebounds. The biggest problem we've got with this crisis, it doesn't finish. Normally when we had the crisis like September 11, it took a few days for the planes to come back on the air. It took a few months for everything to come back to normal. What we've got here is that the situation is prolonging, but we don't know when it's going to finish, and that's making it much more complicated. So I'm optimistic for 2021. I'm pessimistic for 2020. But I think the critical thing is really to look into smart methodologies and agility. So we need to pick up a lot of the things that Kyros was saying early on. We need to pick up signals very quickly from different markets and address those markets accordingly through personalization, contextualization.
Okay, well, because Instagram live stories does not allow us to have recording a live story that surpass 1 hour, we are in 56 minutes right now. So because I see that the audience wants to ask you more questions, I want to make a suggestion and have a Q&A session tomorrow with you, Mr. Buhalis. Tomorrow
I'd be happy
night. We can discuss it later together, and I can share with everyone tomorrow the exactly hour that we are going to have a Q&A session. I'm going to write also all of the questions that we are receiving right now from you. And I would like to thank you very much for being today with us. Your insight is really valuable. Even that we don't have good news, it's important to know where we are today and to get secured and take the right strategy in order to be ready for the next day, of course.
Thank you. On my blog, what I've put is this case of the United Airlines flight that landed, or in fact watered, on Hatso River, and Captain Sully and what he did in that occasion. And the analogy with the brace, exactly like it's a catastrophic failure of engines. Mm-hmm. And I would ask people to look at that and actually think about it. And I'm more than happy to answer questions tomorrow.
Yes. I think that it's better to have more hours to answer questions tomorrow. Mr. Buhalis, thank you very much. We will see you tomorrow. We are going to publish the exact hour in a while during the day. I'm going back to Kyros. Thank you for the moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Kyros, where are you? I'm searching for you. Here you are. So I see most of you have many questions regarding the next day, what we are doing now. So we're going to have a Q&A tomorrow. Now Kyros will be back with us. And looking forward to connect. If you want, guys, please send us a direct message in our inbox, and in order to collect all the questions and have tomorrow Mr. Buhalis evening hours to discuss with us and answer all the questions that we may have. We are waiting for Kyros, but I think we have a problem with connection. Okay. Hello everyone. Thank you for being with us today.
Here I am.
Kyros, hello.
I'm sure that Dimitris always rocks the stage, the cameras, the bandwidth, everything.
Okay, so I want to thank you very much for today.
I would thank you.
We are not having the greatest news, as Mr. Buhalis said, but we have to face the occasion and take action, I think.
Yeah. I'm totally aligned with Dimitris. Actually, what I believe is that, and Dimitris said, to have our antennas really on the alert mode and get the signals and react accordingly. That's my main point. And of course, trust the professionals.
Yes. So, Kyros, I want to say to everyone that you are available to reach you via LinkedIn. Nea Mesa has also presence in Instagram. As we are doing now the live talk, they can find you. It's your tagline down of our Inomo Design tagline. And of course, if anyone wants your email or anything, they can reach us. Or can you share your email with our audience?
Yes, actually, I will write it down. It's ask@neamesa.com. I will write it right now.
Thank you for the great presentation. And the live talk will be uploaded and online for 24 hours. And tomorrow we are going to have with us two live talks, one at 7 p.m. and after or earlier we are going to have Mr. Buhalis. We are going to inform you as soon as possible. Thank you everyone for today. It was amazing. Thank you, Kyros. Thank you,
and congratulations again for your great initiative.
I hope we all in Inomo hope that this is something useful and valuable.